Hello and welcome to our first podcast called Back to Basics. And I am here today with Robby Meyerdix and I'm Tim Cunningham. Say hello, Robby.
Hello, Robby.
And today we're going to be discussing a little bit about some store etiquette. You know, how should you interact with other players at a Magic card shop?
It's not just even other players. It's how do you interact with who's ever running the event, who's ever judging the event, and whoever owns the store.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're not at that event, at that card shop, if that store owner is not putting down money to supply cards, supply prize support, pay electricity, pay rent.
Right.
You're not doing any of that without that card shop owner, so he's really the person you most need to take care of.
Right. And we don't want to exclude our female audience here, or she.
Or
No, what am I saying?
What the one female who might listen to this, I'm sure she understands.
She's like, yeah, they're all dudes. But yeah, that's a valid point because, for example, if you're going into a new shop, let's say you move or you're just visiting a buddy and you go to an F&M or something, you have to be really careful about their trade rule, their sell rule. You know, some shops, they allow people to sell cards to other players.
Mm-hmm. Some don't.
Some are really strict, and you can get kicked out for that.
Yeah, and some of the shops will allow you to, but they'll, like, some of the shops I've heard before have, yeah, you can sell cards in your shop, but you're giving me a cut.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You can sell as many cards as you want in my shop, but I'm going to take 10%.
I have not seen that.
For giving you a place to facilitate you selling your cards.
It's kind of like a garage sale place. You know, you go ahead, we'll put them up. That's an interesting business model for that. Hey, it works for them. But that's a different topic.
Yeah, but you have to be very careful when you're dealing with the owners of card shops because it is their business. They are taking it very seriously.
Yeah.
For you, it's a place to play Magic. For them, it's their livelihood.
Oh, absolutely. So you definitely want to be careful with how you approach your cards in their store. But speaking of being in their store, I mean, you have to be mindful of, you don't want to be obnoxious, you know? Just be...
You're going to be a gamer. You're going to be a little obnoxious. Plus,
I'm saying you don't want to be bouncing off the wall and yelling fuck all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if there's little kids.
Yeah, usually it is a public place. It is a family place to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in game shops. So did you. I mean,
yeah.
I've been in game shops since I was 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
So we grew up around some gamers.
Yeah.
And
thus we have a Magic podcast.
Yeah. And well, that wasn't the best argument for my mother. The people that she saw, or at the game store we went to.
Gotham City, rest in peace.
Yes, may it rest in peace. I can remember saying to her how, my mother that is, how it's okay. They're not actually, bad people. They're just gamers. They're nerds. They're not going to hurt me in any way.
Yeah, and, I think it also helped you that my father was the judge.
Yeah.
And, Matt was there when Ray and Matt were there when you first
started. Those are our brothers.
Yeah, our brothers. So, but I think it really certainly did not hurt that my father was the judge and was going to be there.
Right, but when I went off to college, I went off to another game store. I found one in the town that I went to, and there was a woman there, and she would bring her little kid to teach him Magic because she thought it was a great tool to teach him math, to teach him vocabulary, because it
is?
No, it seriously is. It uses... I read this... I remember because I was trying to play Magic in grade school, trying to come up with points about why Magic is okay to play. And I went to Catholic school, so, they're thinking it's demonic and crap. And, hang on, hold that thought. I told them that it was... They use about... It was some really high statistic, about like 78% or something, of words that are used in Magic cards are used on the ACT and SAT. So it's like putting your mind up against vocabulary that you've never read before, like exile, you know?
Yep.
That's used all the time.
Now, do you know now that they're using Magic to teach foreign languages in schools in California?
I did not know that.
There's a school in California that's buying foreign Magic cards, and they're slowly replacing the English ones, and they're teaching the kids how to play Magic. And then when they give the kids new cards, they give them new foreign cards and say, figure out what it does.
Wow.
Learn to read this card.
Interesting.
So it's supplementing, like they do have the regular, education process for teaching people new languages, but to make people want to learn it, they're teaching them Magic, saying you'll enjoy the game, and now you want to add new cards, learn to read your new cards.
Interesting. That's really neat. But so, point proven, it's a great tool for children, I think.
But that's not crush up etiquette. So
I know. I'm bringing it back. Don't worry. I'm bringing it back. And that's why that woman, she brought in her little kid. I think he was like 7 or 8. Like about the age we were when we just first started learning. And she would sit there and play with him.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't matter because she was awful too. So no one cared.
Yeah.
Even if she wasn't awful, I think it would have been proper to say, let it slide. They're not competing. It's F&M. Let things slide at F&M. That's what I think. If you have a new player, you really should let things slide.
If you have a new player, yes, but you have to be very careful, speaking as a judge, about what you let slide and who you let it slide for. If it's a new player that you know is a new player, you let things slide. You talk to them about it.
Oh yeah.
But there are players out there who will intentionally cheat at F&M because they know the rules levels is laxed. So they'll see how much they can get away with at F&M.
Right. It's like, oops, I did. You caught me.
Not naming any names, but I've had players playing flip cards. The flip cards from Innistrad Block.
Okay.
In non-opaque sleeves. So they knew what card they were going to draw. And if they would have a way to shuffle their library out, they would look and see they didn't want to draw that flip card, and they'd crack and shuffle their library.
Wow. Yeah. There's a point, obviously. You have to use your discretion, but
yeah.
With new players, I think if someone's doing something that is just like completely wrong and a bad interaction, you should just be like, look, you're new, so you should really do it this way.
Yeah.
I think you were telling me something the other day about you had an example like that.
Oh, yeah. It was in Innistrad Block Draft. And I had out a Pitchburn Devils, which is, for those who don't know, a 3/3, and when it dies, it deals 3 damage to a creature or player. My opponent had out a Festerhide Boar, which is a 3/3 with Morbid, and it had its Morbid trigger, so it got 2 +1/+1 counters, so it was a 5/5 Trampler.
Okay.
And he had out a 1/1 Flying Spirit token.
Okay.
I was at 4 life. And my opponent swung in with both cards. Now, this is his 3rd tournament, and I'm at pretty much every draft there, so I know when someone's new and when someone's not.
Right.
And I kind of have a set of about, like, your 10th tournament, I'm going to be a little bit harder on you.
Right.
But very early on, I'm going to be very, I'm going to sometimes teach you how to win a game like I did this guy. So and I don't remember the card in the set, it's a 1 white mana spell, and either gives a card +1 creature, +1/+0 in first strike, or +1/+1 in first strike, and is an instant.
Okay.
So he swings in with both guys. I blocked the Festerhide Board with my Pitchburn Devils. He plays the +1/+1 in first strike instant on his Festerhide Board, which would, with first strike damage, would do 3 to me and 3 to my Pitchburn Devils. State-based effects would check. I would be 1. Pitchburn Devil would be dead. Before he got to do his 1 point of regular combat damage, I would get my Pitchburn Devil trigger. He was at 2. I could have killed him.
Right.
While if he put that instant on the flyer, he'd have done 2 to me with the flyer, 2 to me in trample, and I'd have been dead before I got my Pitchburn Devil trigger, and I would have never got to kill him.
And when you're new, there's no way you're going to know.
There's no way you know about state. He probably never heard the word state-based effects in his life. I mean, he
maybe
probably...
like in his government class or something. I don't know. But definitely not in terms of Magic.
Yeah.
And that's a concept that you're just not going to get when you're first learning.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I didn't mind letting the kid win that game.
Right.
Because that was game 2, I had won game 1, I was going to win game 3. And even though that was game 3, I didn't mind letting the kid win that game. Because it's just a game at F&M.
Right.
You know, it's not like I taught the guy how to beat me in Worlds.
Yeah, you're at Worlds. No, man. You want to put it on here, remember? We can stay face to face.
Yeah, we talked about this like 10 years ago.
Oh, you win. You would have got it. You just forgot. You're under pressure. Right. You bring up another good point. I don't know if you meant to or not, but you have to remember it is just a game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going there to have fun, and if you're not having fun, you're playing wrong. You're not doing it right.
Yeah,
know?
I mean, there are certain people that I just want to beat. I'm not going to call anyone's name out on this podcast,
no,
obviously.
Don't.
But there are certain people, I don't like them. They rules lawyer people.
I'm sorry.
Not you. But they rules lawyer people.
Uh-huh.
They try to cheat if they can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And those people I just want to beat. And I'm going to give them no benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And go ahead and rules lawyer me if you want, but I guarantee you I'm going to rules lawyer you better. You know? Especially because they're not that good at rules lawyering. I could make up a rule and they wouldn't know it. Like,
right.
I wouldn't do that because I'm not a cheater, but they're not very good at rules lawyering, but they think they're slick. And I hate when players think they're slick, when they think they're getting away with something.
Okay.
Like, if you cheat and you get caught cheating, you go, oh, you caught me? I don't like it because you cheated, but at least, you know, you knew that you could get caught and you own up to when you get caught. When a player thinks they're slick and they're trying to cheat and they get caught and then they're giving you every excuse in the world why they weren't cheating, when you know they know better and you know that, you know, that they're cheating. For example, one person, I got a call actually at home from a different job, not the one I judge at, but I had been to that shop before, and their TO called me and said, what do we do if at the end of the draft someone ended up with 49 cards?
Okay.
The person was clearly taking a bunch of extra cards.
Okay.
And I said, is it a new player? Like, did they not know they couldn't take 2 cards back? No, they gave me a name.
Yeah.
Person knows the rules of draft.
Mm-hmm.
You end up with 1 extra card, okay, cards stick together, something happens. It happens to anyone. It can happen to anyone.
Right,
But you end up with 5 extra cards.
You're piling the cards on top of each other.
Yeah. 5 extra cards? No, that doesn't happen.
Right.
It's actually more than, because it's 14.
It's 4 extra cards, right?
It's 14 cards a pack, because you take out basic land.
Oh, okay.
So 14 times 4 is 42. That's 7 extra cards.
Okay.
That's...
And I'm guessing 7 extra good cards, because it's not like, going to take this extra, you know...
Angel's Mercy!
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Got that whiptail artifact.
Yeah, it's... So I thought it was like, just disqualify them. Like...
Yeah, but if you want to just talk about etiquette, just don't cheat. You know,
don't cheat.
It's a game. If you're cheating to win at the game, you're not good enough to play the game. Because...
You don't want to be Mike Long.
Well...
Those of you who don't know, Mike Long was a pro player long, long ago who essentially got to the Pro Tour by being like the best cheater ever. But once he got to the Pro Tour and he played against people who had seen cheating, he won a couple events, but he didn't really last that long on the Pro Tour because he was just like the best cheater ever, and he could cheat at Grand Prix trials.
What was
he could cheat at
a magic person,
yeah.
Like a real magician.
Oh, I don't know if he was a real magician,
like sleight of hands and stuff.
Or like what he would do is he would be in a draft and then he would go buy cards.
Oh,
he would slip in cards from outside the draft.
Yeah, that's shady. But like I said, it's a game, and if you're cheating to win the game, you're missing the point of playing.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're not having fun playing the game, and you're having to cheat in order to win it, don't play the game. Yeah, it's just not for you. Because, really, cheating just complete... It's like going on, playing Grand Theft Auto, and immediately...
Putting in all the cheat codes.
Right. That's fun. Don't get me wrong. So maybe that's a bad example.
But you're not hurting anyone else. It's more like playing... a online game and hacking your system.
It's like playing Halo and people standbying. If you don't know, if you didn't play Halo 2, there was a standby button on your router, and that would allow you to manipulate the game, and so you could steal the flag, and your opponent could not catch you because the way the Xbox talk to each other. And all you would see if I were standbying against you is a blue screen, and that's it. And then you would die for a second, and then blue screen. And you'd come back, you'd be like, "Oh, I get to play." You're dead. And you come back, "Oh, you've lost a flag," you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so boring and so stupid.
Yeah,
it's not that obvious in Magic, you know, as a blue screen saying you're getting cheated against. But
sometimes it is when someone ends up with 49 cards.
Right.
I mean,
or still has 6 cards in their hand, and it's turn, 8, and they've played tons of spells.
I haven't drawn any cards. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen people cheat. I've caught people cheating. But
the most I've ever done, really, is draw an extra. And
was it
intentionally,
on purpose?
Intentionally, but like not during competitive events. In grade school, like playing against my friends, draw an extra to beat them because I'm trying to win. And
yeah. But I mean,
I'm a kid. Of course, I'm going to cheat.
Like when we were kids, I mean, how often would I just look at the top few cards in my library, and then if it wasn't good, just scoop to someone?
Well, that's hurrying it up a little too.
Yeah, but that was also not competitive events. So that was you and I playing in the basement, and like play Magic, like this is I'm not gonna draw out of this. Okay,
yeah. And I'd get so mad when you did that. I felt like you were ruining me winning.
Well, you did it so rarely.
It's true. He's not lying. It's true. As you can probably tell by my videos. Okay, so don't cheat.
Respect your shop owner.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Respect your fellow players too. Like you can respect them, not like if you are just someone who's a jerk and don't have nice things to say to other Magic players because you think you are that much better than them this game. We all know those guys are talking about.
Yes, there's
just
always one or two.
And don't say a word to them.
Right.
Like everyone would prefer you not say a word than you actually just be yourself. Like that sounds mean, but it's true.
It's absolutely true. If you're that guy that says how great you are at Magic and points out how great you are, and always points out the misplays of people, or this is what I really hate: when you're watching someone play and you make a play and then you just immediately walk away. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, see, I really don't. That doesn't really bother me because I don't really notice it. Like if someone's watching our game and I make a play and someone walks away, I'm not really correlating that to my play because
No. Okay, then let me add one thing in there. They sigh or shake their head a little bit, give a look to someone else that's watching. Something that indicates, oh my god, why did he just make that play?
If they make an audible noise after a play I make, I get annoyed at them. Not because it's like, why did you make that play? It's, what if I was doing something and my opponent knows my play, but didn't necessarily notice A, was a misplay, or B, noticed, wasn't thinking about something else that could be in my hand, and now they are. Because that little tip of that guy making that noise, you were there at the Battleground event where I always want to say people's names, but I shouldn't say his name. I'll call him Annoying High Pitched Voice Kid. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Sat down next to my opponent. My opponent got ready to play a card, and he goes, "Huh?" And the guy picked the card back up and played another one. And I looked at the guy who said, "Huh," and told him he had to leave. He was not allowed to watch our game. He just changed that guy's play. Like, he just directly changed how this match is going.
Mm-hmm.
From outside. And it was a big argument. Do you remember that?
No, but continue. I like this story.
And eventually, a couple other he argued back, and a couple other people had to get in between us and basically make him move. Because he was wrong, and everyone knew he was wrong. My opponent knew he was wrong and was telling him to move.
Right.
And my opponent actually then picked up his other play and said, this is what I was going to do, and did that.
I remember a different one where that same person came up to you and said, I didn't realize they reprinted
Nantuko Shade.
Nantuko Shade.
And it was in my hand, and it was game 3. I hadn't played a game 1 or 2, and my opponent just looked at him because he saw the guy look at my hand and then tell him what was in my hand and scoop. My opponent scooped. He was just like,
that's proper etiquette.
Yeah, that's proper
right
etiquette. If you get outside information that you shouldn't have, scoop.
Right. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. That's just another example of how someone watching you is just, it ruins the game. So
there's nothing wrong with watching. If you're going to watch a game of Magic, there is nothing wrong with watching a game of Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like at an FNM, there's nothing wrong with watching the game of Magic and joking around with the people who are playing the game. Because it's FNM and most people are just there to have fun and joke around.
Right.
And, play some goofy deck that they like. I really personally don't like it when people go to FNM and are just like, I'm going to play the best deck ever at FNM because it's the top deck in the format. I get it if you're getting ready to go off to a big event and you're waiting to deck test.
Right.
But then, and if you're doing that, don't be the same guy who's making fun of someone's homebrew deck who thinks it's fun.
Right.
Like, that's what I really hate FNM is. Because, I play almost exclusively homebrew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I hate when everyone's like, oh, well, that deck, it's not a real deck. I was like,
that deck can't win.
I was like, yeah, actually it can. I mean, remember when I built that green deck, the Eldrazi green deck, the Eldrazi green, and 2 weeks later it won 5K Nashville?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
This stupid deck. Dude.
Just won 5K Nashville, yeah.
That deck took me out of contention for a time walk. I would have won a time walk. I got second because of the Eldrazi green. I was playing Jund. And
that had such a good matchup against a Jund. It was the right... I built that deck to beat Jund.
The problem was, I'd never had seen it before that besides your deck and that game. So it was just like, I tested, all the stuff, and...
Well, one thing is, that deck was very good against Jund. It was... Mm-hmm. When I initially built that deck, and from what I saw, the difference was between the one that won Nashville and the one I was playing was basically the guy had more cards than I did at that point in time, so he got to run 4 Naces, and I can only run 3.
Gotcha.
And that was a big difference. He had access to 4 Naces, I had access to 3 Naces at that time.
Well, his attitude as well kind of just it put me on tilt, really, to be honest, because it just he had this cocky attitude of I'm better than you, and he was a better Magic player than me.
At a tournament for a time walk, I don't mind the cocky people. If you're talking about a big tournament where the prize is a time walk, a Lotus,
it was a big
Star
tournament.
City, a Grand Prix, a PTQ, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Prix trials are a different monster. If you're a douche at a Grand Prix trial, I don't have time for you.
Right.
It's a Grand Prix trial. No one cares.
Right.
No one cares that you won a Grand Prix trial.
No one cares that you top-8'd 6 PTQs either.
Yeah, and did you win one?
Even if you did, who cares? Did you win a Pro Tour?
If you've won a PTQ, that's better than winning a Grand Prix trial. They're pretty big deal.
But still, even winning a PTQ, like I top-8'd States, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Big deal. I read the metagame. I played terrible, and I still top-8'd,
Yeah.
Because I just metagamed hard.
The only time I'll ever talk about having won PTQs and stuff like that is if someone else is, and I just want that person to be quiet.
Right.
There was someone wwho talked about top-8'ing 4 or 5 PTQs. I was like, "Do you ever win one?" No, have you? I was like, "Yes, I have. Thank you very much."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, why aren't you why don't you tell me that?" I'm like, who cares?
Right. It's still a game.
And you know what? When I won a PTQ, mask block was legal. So
Right. I mean, it's just you don't need to show off your badges, so to speak. No. Let your skill talk for you. That's going to talk. That's going to talk much more and much more effectively than you browbeating about, how good you are because of all the previous accomplishments you got. Now, let's say you're doing an article or something,
and you're using your credentials
yeah.
as to why people should listen to you. That's one thing.
Right.
But if you are at a game store and you're trying to just intimidate people, basically, I don't like that. Especially if it's at
not
an
even
FNM.
Intimidate, but just kind of jerk yourself off.
Yeah. Yeah, because essentially we are talking about FNMs. We're talking about game store.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're not talking about going to Grand Prix or Star City events.
Yeah.
No.
We're talking about FNM.
That's a completely different boat.
Yes. And anyway, I even put PTQs in that boat.
Oh, I do too.
But I don't put Grand Prix trials in that boat because I've seen 8 people show up to a Grand Prix trial.
Yeah.
I've never seen 8 people show up to a PTQ.
I've seen hundreds of people show up for PTQs being on.
Yeah. And getting a Grand Prix trial, all you need to do is have one tournament of more than 32 people, one FNM, and you'll get a Grand Prix trial. Woohoo!
Yeah.
I don't remember what the number is you have to get to have a PTQ, but it's a lot more.
Right. So PTQs, different boat. Star City Games, different boat.
And to get a Grand Prix or a Pro Tour, you have to have an international airport, like not attached to your game store, but in your city.
Oh wow!
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, so people from all over the country, all over the world, can get there.
Wow.
So yeah, if you're seeing
so Springfield, where we live, could have
nothing. Abraham Lincoln's not international. It's
not international. Okay.
It doesn't take international flights or fly out internationally.
So we couldn't have a Pro Tour
or a Grand Prix.
Or a Grand Prix.
We can have PTQs. We can have Grand Prix trials. We can have stuff like that, but we can't.
But St. Louis can.
St. Louis can. Yes, they have an international airport.
Wow. So what qualifies? Never mind. That's different.
What qualifies the international airport? Do you receive and send out flights internationally?
Well, does it have to be multiple places?
Yes. Well, no. I don't know if Canada counts.
If we get one flight from Australia or something.
No, I think it has to be multiple places.
All of a sudden we're international.
I think it has to be multiple places. I don't know exactly, but I know.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. But I know to get a Grand Prix or a Grand Prix or a Pro Tour event, you have to have an international airport.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
On etiquette?
Yeah.
Just don't play like the people you hate playing against.
Oh, that's great. That's great advice.
If you hate playing against the guy that takes 5 minutes to decide what to do when they ponder, like I do, don't take 5 minutes to ponder. There's a story, a local player, I'm not going to say his name again, was playing in a big event, and I will actually call it the pro who did it, because I really don't care. If the pros listen to our podcast, good for us. Steve Menindian, you know who he is?
Nope, but go on.
He's considered the keeper of Legacy and Vintage. He is who Wizards talks to about the Eternal formats, about how to make them better.
Okay.
The guy takes 20 minutes to brainstorm because he won game 1 against local player. Local player had him in a good position in game 2, and the guy takes 20 minutes to resolve his brainstorm and goes to time, so he ends up winning 1-on-1.
Yeah.
And the local player never calls him on it because he's in awe that he's playing against Steve Menindian, and he's like, oh, that's so smart of clock management. It's like, dude, he was a jerk.
Yeah, that's just manipulating you.
Yeah, that's manipulating the clock, that's slow play, that's any number of things, and you were in awe because you were playing a pro. But, yeah, don't be that guy.
Okay. I would say my final thoughts would be, if you're trying to get better, find someone that's better than you at the FNM and ask them what you did wrong. If you are the better player, don't be the corrector. Don't be the grammar Nazi so to speak, at the FNM. If someone wants to get better, they'll generally seek you out probably.
Yeah, I was at an FNM and 2 of my friends came in, and they had only been playing Magic for a little while, but they played a lot of other card games prior to it, like Highlander, UFS, some of the older card games.
Okay.
And so they knew how to play card games. And one of my buddies was like, hey, after you finish your match, because I was playing Red Deck Wins, so I was going to be done pretty quick no matter what. I was going to win or lose fairly quickly.
Yeah, that's why I love playing Red Deck.
And so, and he was playing some kind of control-ish build. He made some kind of control homebrew.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I want you to like come down and sit next to me after your match, and like write down what I'm doing wrong and explain to me after the match. So I was going over there and I was writing down what he was doing wrong, and our other buddy comes up and just reads the paper and looks up at him and goes, he's writing down why you suck.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we were all friends.
Right, so use your best judgment. Actually, use your better judgment. Of, you know what's good etiquette, what's not. And what it all comes down to is be nice. Just don't be a jerk. And I think Magic will continue to grow as long as the community is respectful and welcoming. You don't want...
You have to be welcoming of new players.
Yeah. Because if you like this game, you're going to have to get new players to play it. Because once they play it, you're still playing, so they'll probably still play it.
Magic's like crack. You never actually quit.
Yeah. How many times have we quit? I can't count how many times.
Sometimes we used to... And how long have we ever actually quit for? 3-4 months? Like, you quit for a couple years.
I quit for a year or two. Yeah.
I never made it that far. I never got that far without Magic.
Well, it's just... Well, having girlfriends and... Well, girlfriend. And, all
he
that.
Doesn't anymore, people, by the way.
Hey, it's complicated. It's complicated. So what if she's, like, Christian and I'm atheist? That's not part of the podcast. Shut up.
You just showed off the girlfriend of the gamers. I get it. I'm just letting to make them feel better.
But this was at the time.
Yeah.
And my whole year hiatus,
yeah.
That was also the time when I got banned for a year for bullcrap. Remember that?
You got banned for 6 months and you didn't get back in.
No, I got banned for a year.
Your challenge went down to 6 months. I remember that.
No, it was a 3-year ban, and it went down to a year.
That's right. And still, even as a judge, I don't know, like, as a judge now, and from what I heard from this conversation, I don't know how they came to that conclusion.
I don't
And
either.
I really would have liked to have been there.
Right.
Just to have said, to either explain to you exactly why you got
But the guy...
or explain to them exactly why they were folded.
Right. And the whole reason he called a judge was because I was being that cocky guy that I don't want to be. You know what I mean? I was being that guy, I'm better than you are at this game. And I was just like, whatever, and because I was that guy, the judge assumed that I was like, I don't know what he assumed. He was obviously wrong. And when I said, I forget what I said. I said, 1, he heard done, and he drew extra while I was searching my library. Yeah. And I called a judge over. And then it's just like, the judge thought that I was trying to cause my opponent to do that.
Yeah.
Because I was playing in such a way like that cocky asshole.
Yeah.
So, but that's not here nor there. That's in the past. And they couldn't stop me from playing online, which is what I was primarily doing anyway. So, whatever. Just didn't travel anymore. But anyway, anything else?
No, we're moving on to our next subjects, or do you want to save those for later dates?
If you want to talk about evaluation, and we can, definitely.
Okay, yeah, I got nothing to do. We got time.
All right, we'll continue on. We'll go to an hour. How about that? All right, so the other topic we had in mind was how we're going to start talking about how to improve at Magic. Mm-hmm. And I think the first thing, well, not the first thing. I mean, you obviously have to know the rules and all that. But if you want to start getting better.
And this works for both limited and standard purposes.
Yeah, you have to know how to evaluate a card. And if it's good, if it's bad, if it's good in your situation,
So one of the big arguments I have over the years, and by this time I've been having to talk with one of my friends for about 3 years now, is something called the generic test. Have you heard of the generic test?
I haven't. I'm interested.
Okay. So say there is a card that is a 2/2 for 2.
Okay, it's
A
Grizzly Bear.
Okay?
Yep.
But it's not generic. Okay?
It's not generic.
Not generic. Okay. It has some ability. Doesn't matter what the ability is right now. You look at it and say it's a 2/2 for 2. If before you read the text box, it's playable.
Okay.
And so that means you should automatically be reading that card's text box to see if it has a positive or negative ability as to whether or not it's still playable. Okay?
Okay.
But he says that's a really good test of how to evaluate cards. Like, just ignore the text box, look at the casting cost, power, toughness, and then if that tells you it's playable, read its text box.
Okay.
And I tell him that's stupid because Royal Assassin is a very playable limited card. It's really good in limited. But if you just read its text box, it's other things, 3 mana for a 1/1, I don't want this card. I mean...
Right.
That there are so many cards that, yeah, it's a 2/2 for 4, but its other abilities make it really good. And that's why you play that card.
Mm-hmm. Right, so that's not a very good rule. If there's so many exceptions to the rule, it's not really a rule.
Yeah, I know, but I'm telling people who look at the generic test, because I know a lot of people look at the generic test and say that's how you start evaluating cards, and I'm telling you no.
I've never heard that, so I'm glad I hadn't.
Yeah,
because that sounds awful to me.
It has its points in which oftentimes it is a decent starter.
Well, if I thought when you were first describing it that you were going to go with something like you take Grizzly Bear and you take Disciple the Old Way. That's that card, right? 2/2 red gives it first strike.
Yeah. Disciple Old Way is clearly better.
Yeah, because it's Grizzly Bear plus an ability.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what the Grizzly Bear is a generic, and then the Disciple the Old Way is generic +1 or something,
Yeah, no, this is the test that says you just ignore the text box, and if the card is playable with a blank text box, it's probably playable. If the card is playable without a blank text box, with a blank text box, if the card's not playable, it's probably not playable.
So I guess what I would be describing would be the vanilla test.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just thought of that. So if that goes viral, you heard it here first. How else do you evaluate cards?
Well, I think the big thing I look at is I evaluate creatures over pretty much everything, especially in limited.
Yeah, limited.
But not limited. I evaluate cards based on cards from the past. I don't know if that's good, but I think when you've been playing as long as we have, I was saying earlier when just you and I were talking before the podcast, we're kind of like the Mythbusters of Magic because we have over 30 years Magic experience.
Yeah. We've played
we've played around a lot of games, yeah.
A few.
We probably both have a rule of 10,000 hours. You know what that is?
No.
Statistically speaking, to be
the expert, yeah, you have to
be an expert or a master at your craft.
I don't believe that for a second.
You need 10,000 hours.
Based upon experience, I don't believe that for a second.
There's a great book called Outliers that explains it, but
no,
that's not why we're here. I'm not here to pump Malcolm Gladwell books.
Right. Buy now on audible.com.
Go ahead and do it if you want to. I really don't care one way or the other. But
right. That's just what all the podcasters do. You can buy it on Audible. Anyway, sidetrack.
Yeah. So I try to compare cards to how they were in the past. Like, if I'm looking at Cancel.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel's not a very good counterspell. It's a very average counterspell.
You know what's good counterspell? Counterspell.
Counterspell is too good of a counterspell.
Yeah.
You know what's a good counterspell that's not too good?
Remove Soul.
Dissipate.
Dissipate's also because it's 2 blue and 1.
2 blue and 1, and it's not just a counterspell, it's exiling it, so you're done with dealing with that card. So Dissipate is better in a format than Cancel. Same casting cost, extra ability.
But you get rid of it.
But you get rid of it for good.
Interesting.
So I look at Cancel, and Cancel being in the format doesn't excite me. Dissipate being in the format does a little. Saying, oh, hey, look, I can play Dissipate. That's good. Right. I'd much rather play Dissipate. Stoic Rebuttal was another one. It's same casting cost. counter target spell, and if you have Metalcraft, it costs 2 mana.
Right.
So it's just counterspell. So it's like,
Right.
okay.
But it's not always counterspell.
No.
Right.
No.
So that's very good.
So I guess I'm looking at a card and saying, at a counterspell, if cancel is my line, like, cancel is the worst counterspell I will play.
Right.
Are you better or worse than cancel? And I compare that card to cancel. If I'm looking at a mana producer, I'm saying Llanowar Elf is the worst mana producer I will play. Are you better or worse than Llanowar Elf?
Right, because there is that power creep that all the cards. I mean, I can't even imagine what Magic's going to look like 10 years from now with all the power creep already. You know.
But they're starting to cut back. Card evaluation works very well into the card that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time.
All right, let's hear it.
Ragtusk.
Okay.
Ragtusk is a card that everyone is telling everyone how good it is, right?
It's a decent card, yeah.
But the reason Ragtusk is good right now is because power creep in creatures is going down.
It's good right now?
It's good right now.
In what?
In Standard.
In Standard?
Yeah.
Tarmogoyf's still legal in Standard?
Tarmogoyfs aren't, no. Why would Tarmogoyf be legal in Standard?
Thragtusk, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Thragtusk is still legal in Standard, yeah.
I'm thinking, I don't know why I thought Tarmogoyf. But
no.
go on.
Yeah, Thragtusk, 5/5 or 5/3
yeah,
for
I'm
5,
with you.
5 life. Yeah.
I'm with you. I went to Tarmogoyf.
You went to Tarmogoyf, you went to a better creature.
Yeah. It's a good creature.
Tarmogoyf is really good. Like, Tarmogoyf is arguably the best or second best 2-drop. Him or Dark Confidant are the best 2, followed by Snapcaster Mage, somewhere in that order. But so I just went back to Shards Block, which I think is fair timeline to look at Thragtusk for, okay?
Shards, okay.
How many creatures since Shards Block are better than Thragtusk? And it's a ton. If Shards Block was in, or Thragtusk was in Shards Zendikar Standard, it doesn't see very much play. If it's in Shards,
I think you play Wormcoil Engine over it.
Yeah, I say if it's in Zendikar Scar Standard, it sees very little play. At one point, Baneslayer Angel better, right?
Baneslayer Angel is really good, yeah.
Yeah. All the Titans.
Yeah.
Wormcoil Engine.
Yeah.
Hero Bladehold.
Yeah, I mean, you play Baneslayer. If Baneslayer was in this format, Thragtusk would...
Thragtusk is a $2 card.
You wouldn't even care.
Yeah.
Because Baneslayer just completely eclipses it.
Yeah. If Wormcoil is in this format, you don't care about Thragtusk. It does everything better. It gives you
6/6.
more life, and it gives you 2 3/3s.
Mm-hmm.
It's just... and it's colorless.
Yeah.
So there, even though Thragtusk's color requirement is very limited with just 1 green...
Right.
It still has a color requirement, unlike Wormcoil Engine, which can go in anything.
Right.
And did go in everything, because it was just that good.
Right. Or like
Bloodbraid
Elf.
Yeah, I would say Bloodbraid Elf better. Noble Hierarch.
Also better.
Yeah. There are so many...
When they printed Noble Hierarch, I loved it right off the bat.
Yeah. Knight of Reliquary.
Oh,
or Knights of the Reliquary, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Knight was good too.
Yeah.
List goes on and on. I agree. Thragtusk.
Thragtusk is a very solid to good creature, but it is a card that spent a long time defining the format simply because creatures got bad. Creatures weren't good in Innistrad block. Creatures aren't that great in the new block. I mean, there's Thunder Cow. What's his name?
Thunder Cow?
Boros Reckoner?
Interesting nickname.
Look at the picture. He's a Thunder Cow.
I see it now.
So yeah, Thunder Cow is in the format, but and that's eclipsing Thragtusk as being the most played creature. And Snapcaster is maybe the only other creature that's up there with him.
I see.
And so I'm just power creep's going down.
Okay,
so
that's
evaluating the new set, at least creature-wise, spell-wise, cards are getting better. Like, it's going back more toward when you and I started playing Magic.
When spells were
amazing, and creatures were, well, you have to play some.
Yeah. I remember always playing creatureless stacks. You know?
Could you imagine that when you were playing Red Deck, or when you were playing the Boros decks, or whatever you were playing back in Zendikar Shards block, ever think about playing Stonewright?
Stonewright?
It's a 1/1 for 1, and it has Soulbound, and they both get fire breathing.
Oh.
Could you ever imagine playing that card in those decks?
Definitely not.
It's played in Red Deck wins right now.
Wow. Interesting. Can you imagine playing Raging Goblin in that deck?
No.
No.
Goblin Guy is just so much better.
Well, yeah. But what about now? Would you play Raging Goblin?
Now would I play Raging Goblin? Probably not, because I still think that at 1-drops you have a Vaccine Devils. I think Stone Right's better than Raging Goblin.
Yeah.
And certainly Stormcroak Noble is.
So that just goes to show you, because Raging Goblin, that was the best turn 1 play you could have made back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It was either like Bolt You or Raging Goblin.
If you bolted your opponent, you were not playing red deck right.
Well,
because you want to get their blockers away so your attackers can't get in.
True. But that was when you're playing no creature red.
Oh, you mean you're just playing burn?
Mm-hmm. Just playing burn. Yeah, which you can't do anymore at all.
Yeah, creatureless decks are no longer really existent. There's some very light creature decks. There's a Staff and In deck out there that just its only creatures are Augur of Bolos, and like it plays one giant fatty, but creatureless decks are a thing of the past now, and I kind of think it might be coming back because you're having better spells like Sphinx's Revelation,
right?
Like
which is a great card. I would play that back in the day.
Yeah, it's
my
better
blue white deck. I would play that.
Yeah, it's better than Stroke of Genius. It's just flat out better than Stroke of Genius. There's no Blue Sun Zenith is flat out better than Stroke of Genius. There's no reason to play either of those cards, or to play Stroke of Genius over either of those cards.
Unless you just don't have them.
Yeah.
But if you have them, you might as well play them.
Yeah, and so, looking at stuff like that, so spells are getting better to an extent. Some spells are getting worse.
Look at Shock versus Burst Lightning.
Yeah.
Remember, didn't you have an argument with somebody that Shock was just better?
Yeah,
they were arguing that.
Someone told me Shock was better, and I didn't understand how. And their argument was that Shock is always 2 damage for 2, and sometimes people are going to play Burst Lightning as 4 damage for 5 mana, and that's inefficient. So Burst Lightning can be inefficient. And I was like, but it's always at least Shock. And sometimes they're at 4, and you just kill them with it.
Right.
Even if you're playing it inefficiently.
Right.
Even if you're doing 4 damage for 5 mana. Even if it's inefficiently. And you just kill them, or you just kill their best creature. Who cares?
Yeah. If that's what you need, that's good. Because if it was just Shock, and that's what you needed 4 damage for 5, then Shock didn't do its job. But Burst Lightning did, you know? So it just
And
wins.
if you just need a Shock, you don't have to pay the 5 mana.
Right. I mean,
it would just need a Shock.
It would seem obvious, but for some reason, maybe they weren't really making the argument that Burst Lightning is worse, but I don't know. I wasn't there, I didn't hear it, but that's just, I don't understand that at all. But when you said that you look at past cards, I'm starting to think I do that too, because whenever I look at a card, I'm like, oh, this is very much like this card, Yeah. For example, like Krakenura. When I looked at that, I was like, holy crap, this is Giant Spider. Except it could get bigger than Giant Spider.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 1 less. So I immediately loved it. I saw Krakenura and I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. But
that's for limited purposes.
Yeah. But, as you said, card evaluation can work with standard or limited. Or even, crazy formats, where Highlander or whatever.
One of the cards I know I evaluate, and evaluated for a long time, and still evaluate way higher than most people ever did, was Venser, the Planeswalker. Venser Sojourn, was that? Yeah, Venser Sojourn. I built Venser deck upon Venser deck upon Venser deck.
Mm-hmm.
And did very well with them. And it was mostly based because, 1, people weren't ready for a Venser deck, because people evaluate very poorly, but 2, playing a Venser lock deck reminded me of my favorite deck ever.
Capsize?
Capsize. Being able to just play a deck that says, no, you don't do that. I mean, how did the Capsize win? I played Propaganda, and I bounced their land, and they never had an attack step, right?
Right.
What did the Venser deck do? It denied them an attack step.
How did it deny him an attack step?
Stonehorn Dignitary, 1/4. When it comes into play, target player skips on its attack step. So you just blink with Fencer, make them skip their attack step.
Oh, okay. I mean, it wasn't just that, though. You know.
No, I mean I had win condition stuff in there, but that was my lock. That
Right.
was you're not gonna be able to attack me. And in a
That's
very
pretty good, and you know, considering that you pretty much need creatures now to win.
Yeah, and so I mean the capsize deck also you can't cast anything. But the very first thing the capsize deck tried to do was deny you your attack step. Was say, I'm gonna not take damage. I'm gonna stay alive.
Right.
Until I get my lockout. And so that is the very first thing when I'm looking at a control deck. That is still the very first thing I go back to is how do I replicate that?
Right. Me too.
How do I replicate a lock?
Like when Tefari's moat came out, it was like, oh, it's almost moat, but
it's not moat.
It's not moat, you know. But I tried to make it moat, and I tried to make the blue, the white, black.
Keeper?
No, it was 4-color keeper, wasn't it, or was it 5-color? I don't remember now. That's me. But yeah, the keeper deck. It had the Abyss, moat.
Yeah.
Morphling.
Yeah.
There's another card.
Morphling couldn't be played right now.
I know.
Actually, right now, Morphling could be played. Morphling could have been played 2 years ago.
2 years ago. But Morphling was just, I guess, what was it? Changeling that I got reprinted with? It wasn't good, you know?
Well, there was Flameling, and then there was Thornling.
No, it wasn't Thornling. It was a red version.
Flameling.
And Planar Chaos?
Yeah, Flameling.
Yeah.
And Thornling is arguably better than Morphling.
Probably because of Indestructible.
Yeah.
But it was just... That card was known as the best card.
He's Superman.
And for I don't know how many years. But it was the best card.
Yeah, I mean...
best creature.
Best creature. It was Morphling and Psychotalk.
Yeah.
I know neither of those creatures see play.
Right. Not even close.
Yeah.
It's just... it just blows my mind. You know?
But they went through a phase of where they wanted to make creatures more relevant. Uh-huh. They wanted to make... They got too out of control on spells in some ways. Dark Ritual. How long was Dark Ritual printed for, and how long was Dark Ritual broken for? Dark Ritual's last reprint, I believe, was Marcadian Masks.
So playing Hippie turn 1. That was
Now
ridiculous.
Playing Hippie turn 1 is... If you play in a format that you can play Dark Ritual and Hippie in, and your turn 1 is Dark Ritual Hippie, you are going to be laughed out of that tournament.
Oh.
You are! If you're playing in a Legacy tournament, because that's what you have to play in, you go
well,
turn 1 Dark Ritual
that's not
Hippie.
what I was... I was playing this card in like a standard.
Yeah.
Or what was it called then? 2.0?
Type 2.
Type 2.
2.0.
Yeah, Type 2. Wow. Anyway.
It's Type 1, 1.5, 2.0. Or
yeah.
2.
See, that's where the 2.0, the 1.5,
yeah.
That's where it came in. Yeah, Type 2, also known as Standard now. I remember that transition. That was weird for us. I always called it Type 2 forever. Now I call it Standard.
I still call it Type 2 from time to time.
Yeah, but as you can see, now I don't. Type what?
If I said I'd play with Type 2, you would know what I was talking about, though.
Yeah. And I was playing Hippie, Dark Rituals, Megrim, and Him to Turok.
Well, Tim, you weren't playing him. That would have been Extended or Legacy.
Well, then maybe it was 1.5. I don't know.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't Legacy.
That's 1.5.
Sure. Or Vintage. I wasn't playing Mox and Lotus and all that.
Oh, you talking about the deck we played at the Icon, where I played the silly red deck wins that somehow got to the finals?
Did you lose to Slivers?
Slivers won the whole thing. I lost 2 matches all day, and it was both to Slivers.
Yeah.
It was a weird tournament, because the guy was just playing Aether Vial Slivers.
Yep.
He just
2-drop Slivers.
Yep. And I was playing red deck wins, and I wasn't even playing good goblins. I was playing I wasn't playing pile drivers and all stuff. I was ball lightning.
In your goblin deck.
It wasn't even a goblin deck. It was just Sly and Fire Blast, and it was just yeah, this deck's from this is the deck that John Sly won Worlds with. Yeah, back in 1997.
Yeah. You have to look at your experience when you're evaluating.
But if you don't have experience, how would you recommend they evaluate cards?
Oh wow, well, get experience. No, just try it out. Seriously, get experience. Yeah, that's I mean I was joking, but that's actually the answer. By looking at it and like what you were talking about earlier, doing seals. I love doing seals because that's card
I don't
evaluation.
think we recorded when we were talking about that.
No, I know, but you were talking about it earlier.
So I'll go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there is a program you can download for free. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to download it for free, but you can. It's called Spells of the Ancients. It's a very, very old Magic game. It goes up to 5th edition. So that's how old it is. Like,
wow.
But one of the things you can do on there is play sealed decks.
You can also do it on Magic Workstation.
You can do sealed decks on Magic Workstation now?
Yes, you can do Magic Workstation. You can do sealeds on there. There's also...
we also want to be careful with Workstation because I'm pretty sure like Workstation gets hit a lot with viruses and stuff like that, doesn't it?
You know, anything is. But there's also a website, I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can do drafts there.
Cactus?
What?
Cactus? Is that what you're talking about?
No, it's like you do draft picks and stuff. You can do seals as well with it. I don't remember, but...
Oh, well, you can't actually play the deck.
Correct. Well,
Can
you
you
can export it to
can you-
Workstation, though.
Okay. But this one, it sets the whole tournament, and you're playing against a computer.
Okay.
And so it's quick to do, and so you just, every time you're just building your deck, you can change the sets you're playing with, and every time, I do this twice a day most days, and it's just do 2 of these seals. 2 of the seals take me 1 hour to do, maybe, because they're quick games.
Yeah, but that's what you gotta do.
And you look at every card, you evaluate what cards you have, because sometimes, you know, with Fire, if you're playing with 4th edition or Unlimited or something like that, you have Fireball and Disintegrate at common level, so sometimes you're like, hey look, I have 6 X-Spells.
Yeah.
I'm playing red. Sometimes you have no X-Spells, and you're like, guess I'm playing blue-black and hoping for my flyers to carry me?
Right. And just looking at a deck and figuring out what goes in. But another way, if you're trying to get better at evaluating, you remember when I had that huge collection. I bought your old collection. And we would make do stuff decks.
Yes.
That's a perfect way to card evaluate because
No.
those
they don't know what a do stuff deck is. That's
hold on, I'll explain it.
Okay.
I'll explain it. But that's a perfect way to just figure out what a card, if it's good or not, and how it interacts with other things. So a do stuff deck is basically you go through all of your crappy cards and you just build a deck and you just try to make it do stuff.
Yes.
If it does something, you put it in the deck, and it's just like, what's the theme of your deck? It does stuff. So what were some of the
That's where we got the perfect deck from.
Yeah. Didn't drop a game all night.
Right.
I played, all of the
You played like
net decks.
Yeah, you played all the net decks against, and my deck was terrible. It was a do stuff deck. It had camel in it. That's how bad the deck was. Is it had camel?
Yep.
And it had
protection from deserts. Yeah.
protection from deserts and Manning.
Yeah,
no, but it had the 5/5 trampoline worm with Convoke.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was just this terrible legacy deck. And it wasn't really a deck. It was more just like a
collection of cards.
Collection of cards.
And they do stuff.
And they do stuff. And all night long, the deck was not dropping a game. And so I actually took it to an F&M, and they got thumped.
It was just having a great night.
Yeah, I just had a great night. And the deck, everyone's like, why are you playing that? Did you think that was good? And I was like, not at first. And then I played it, and it was beating good decks. And I was like, and they're like, was it?
Yes. And just to make sure it wasn't me, I played the deck.
Yeah.
And he played the good decks.
And it was beating them.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a great way. Just take all the cards that you have, and just, if you think it's interesting, put it in a deck.
Here's something else to do. Every time you open a pack, draft that pack in your head.
Okay.
I mean, this is my first pick.
I
This would be the second pick. This would be the third pick. Put that pack in draft order. How would you draft that pack? Where would cards go?
So, if you're just opening packs.
Yeah,
if you win 6 packs.
And you just open a pack, yeah.
Or
if you buy a box.
Do pack wars. No, that's not card evaluation. But
But
I mean, it still gives you experience with cards.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. You want to play with cards, and then you can see how they interact.
Yeah.
And just by seeing how cards interact, you'll get better at understanding if a card is good or not. So you can see there's a game called Flux, and
Yes.
I try to relate the cards with those with Magic. And there's a card called Draw 3 Cards. And I'm like, Jackpot, yeah. And I'm like, holy crap, this is Ancestor Recall. And I try to explain that to people. I'm like, okay, so there's this game that I play called Magic, and if this were in...
It's actually better than Ancestor Recall because it's free.
Yeah. This is like hundreds of dollars. They restricted it to one. You could only play one. And then they banned it because it's too good. You don't understand how good this card is.
Recall, I guess it is banned in a couple formats, but...
Yeah, and then there's Time Walk. There's Time Twister.
Yeah.
There's
Regrowth,
except
that
you
they
get to play it
fixed
again.
all of those cards by putting them at 5 mana?
Yeah.
Did you notice they put all of them at 5 mana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Time Walk.
Jace's Ingenuity.
Yeah.
And Time Reversal.
Yeah, but they... Yeah. I had noticed that.
Yeah, they put them all in 2 blue and 3, yep.
Anyway, anything else you want to add? I think we'll wrap up here. We're at an hour.
Alright, sounds good.
Well, that was a fun discussion. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do it again. Probably same time next week. And I'll edit it together and put it up at the same time next week. So if this is the first time you're listening to it, go ahead, hit the subscribe.
This is the first time anyone's listening to it.
Well,
it's the first one we've done.
No. Listen here. You're going to put it up on YouTube. It's going to be there forever. So that's one thing I hate about YouTube. If you want to get better, put your stuff up on YouTube. People will tell you how bad you are. But that's another thing. So you do a draft.
Did you read the article about...
Hang on. Let me finish my point. You do a draft, and you don't know anything about the format at all. It's your first draft, right? So I'm doing a draft, and I make terrible pick evaluations that I wouldn't make now.
Yeah.
But it's my first one, so it's like, it seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And at the time, it seemed reasonable. But now after it's been, let's say Return to Ravnica, it's been out for, I don't know how many months now.
Yeah, 6 months or so.
Yeah, but someone going to YouTube, and then they find my first video, and they're like, oh my god! And then they comment, and they're like, this is awful, blah, and they bark all over it, Yeah. It's just like, dude, it's draft number 1. You gotta put that in. Now, watch another one and go to draft number 4.
Did you read the article on Channel Fireball about the guy making fun of people who post YouTube videos of drafts?
No.
He basically if you're a pro, and if you're not a pro, no one wants to see your video. Stop putting it up. And I guess it's fairly common now that people on their videos will beg for people to donate ticks to them.
Oh God.
For them to keep putting out more podcasts.
Or more videos.
More videos, yeah. To stream more videos out there. And he's like, okay, if you're not begging for ticks to put your video, whatever, you're harmless. But if you're asking people for tickets to keep streaming videos on your video, no one cares. No one's going to do it. No one likes you. Stop doing it.
Well, the whole reason I started was because I wanted people to evaluate my play, and I just wanted to improve. And what's the best way to improve? Seriously, put your videos up on YouTube. It doesn't matter if 2 people watch it. You're gonna, once that record, and that mic is on, and you're having to actually talk out your plays and have reasoning behind it, you change your play immediately. Yeah. And I find that I don't go into autopilot when I'm recording as often. I mean, it's still F6 past my turn sometimes because I'm on autopilot, and that's just a bad habit I've had to struggle to break because, playing for so many years, I tend to go on autopilot. But when I'm critically thinking and having to explain why I'm making a play, it's completely different,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's true in most things. I think that's true whether it's on work. If you're having to explain why you're doing something to your boss, then you're probably going to be doing it better than if you're just on autopilot doing your job.
Correct, yeah.
So that's probably true in most things. However, if you're bad at card evaluation already, I'm not sure talking it through if all the wrong reasons are in your head
But even still, if someone does watch this, they're probably going to comment and say how awful you are. But if they're nice, you know, they could say,
"Well, internet, no one's nice."
I know, but I try to be. You know,
we are gonna get so made fun of everyone on the internet for posting this video, and really, we don't care.
Yeah,
we don't care, beloved child.
Yeah, he's just an internet troll. So, but it's, you know, sometimes someone pointed out to me that I could have ran a 16-card land deck, and I completely forgot about that. And then later on, I was like, oh, I wonder if this could be a 16-card deck or a 16 land deck. And I was like, it probably could, and I ran it and it worked. You know, didn't win the draft, but not because I played 16 instead of 17.
Well, the last one that we won with, we ran 16, didn't we?
I don't remember, but probably.
I think we ran 16 and a keyword.
So yeah, that's another way to get better. Post it up on YouTube. Who knows? Maybe you'll go viral. Probably not, but
because you're posting Magic Draft.
Yeah. But that's not why I do it. I do it because I'm a perfectionist and I want to get better.
Yep.
But anyway, went over a little bit, but I hope that extra 5 minutes was worth it. It's 6 minutes. Whatever.
6 minutes and 14 seconds.
Hey.
17.
Now it's just adding on to
19. 20. 21.